Are you sticking big giant stakes in the ground? If you are, then you need to be careful. Some subscriber had asked to talk about, underground utilities. He comes from a construction background and ran into these problems all the time. It's the same thing with tent companies. You're putting big giant stakes in the ground. So you're gonna hit something sooner or later. I did make this video already. I was driving and I rambled. It was way too long of a video, so I'm redoing it. I'm lucky. Our area is mostly rural. Most people have a septic tank and a well. So most people are able to spray paint or put markers out, or not ideally, some of them just tell us where it is. We'd rather have the spray paint out. If we're doing a job at a town center or commercial space, we may have to call DigSafe. In New York State, it's 811 DigSafe, and have them go out. It's free. They'll spray paint everything. Most colleges that we do work at, the utilities maintenance staff has a map and they spray everything. Some colleges just have DigSafe come out themselves. There's this one town where we have to do DigSafe for every job. It kind of sucks. But like I said, I lucked out in just my area for DigSafe. I don't have to do it that much, only a few times a year. But I've been talking to other subscribers, other patrons, where, one subscriber, patron, lives in Philly, and he has to do it for every single job. So a lot of times in these larger metro areas where there's lots of stuff underground, people are just doing frame tents where they can use weights. They're not even bothering with pole tents. He has a mix of frame tents and pole tents because he will do stuff in Philly and an hour out of Philly, where it's like where I am, where it's mostly rural. But you have to remember this. You have to check with different municipalities that you're doing work in to see. It's always safer to see. If you're lucky like me in a rural, you don't worry about it that much. But if you're going to be in a town center, a city center, check, because it is a nightmare if you put a stake through a gas line. That's tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage. Big giant job. My friend put a stake through a gas line of a hotel. The hotel had spray painted it, but they spray painted it wrong. And he put a stake through it. Shut the hotel down for a week. Cost I think it was like $50,000 in canceled bookings because the hotel had to be shut down. His insurance covered half, their insurance covered half, but his insurance cost has gone up because of it. So basically, use your judgment. If you're like me in rural areas, you don't have to do it, really. But it is still a good idea. It does suck if you're doing 40 jobs a week. DigSafe, getting people out there is going to be a logistical nightmare. But if you're doing jobs in the city, Philadelphia or New York City or San Antonio or anywhere that's like a city, you're gonna have to do it, but you do get to charge a premium. Your tents are gonna be much more expensive than my tents because you have all these logistical hurdles to jump through. You might be doing less tents a week than I am, which is kind of cool. But you're charging a whole lot more because it's not easy to get DigSafe logistically out there to spray paint everything. If you've got 50 jobs in a week, it's gonna be very hard to get DigSafe out there and spray paint all those 50 jobs. It's gonna take months of planning up to that point. Just use your noggin and try not to hit anything. And if there's any questions, if the homeowners don't know where things are, just get DigSafe out there to spray paint. It's always better to go through the logistical hassles of getting DigSafe out there than it is to actually put a stake through something. Now, we did put a stake through a septic tank once. It's because the guy was like, oh, nothing's there, blah, blah, blah. So Matt put a stake through it. Fortunately, he lived right next door to a plumbing supply company. It actually was not the septic tank itself. It was some pipe or whatever. So the guy just dug a hole, cut the pipe, put a piece on it. It was fine. Literally lived right next door to a plumbing company. We were in the plumbing company's parking lot to back up to his yard because it was easier. So it is a nightmare. You do have to do it if your municipality requires it or if there's any question. But I'm gonna guess a lot of you guys are like me out in rural areas where you're not gonna have to do it that much. But if you're in a city, you might want to just consider just doing frame tents. They're more expensive to buy, but you'll get to charge a premium for the frame tents because everyone around you is going to be doing frame tents and everyone's going to be jacking up their prices. So keep that in mind. Rural places, pole tents, totally cool. Cities, you might consider owning more frame tents than pole tents. Anyways, that's my Dig Safe talk. Thanks for watching.